The Apprentice Boys' March, celebrating the relief of the siege of Londonderry in 1689, went ahead. To have banned it would have put Chichester Clark's political career in jeopardy. "15,000 Protestants marched that day in a city of only 50,000 people, the majority Catholic. In the Catholic Bogside, barricades were built. Over the past 8 months, the police had twice attacked the area, damaging property as they harassed and taunted the residents. The pomp and strut of the march was met with Catholic jibes. "700 police stood by. During the afternoon, Catholic youths stoned the march as it passed the Bogside. The predictable disorder had begun. To no avail, moderates on both sides tried to defuse the situation.
That's the solution to the problem. Clear them or we'll clear these.
As both sides threw stones, the police stood with their backs to the Protestant rioters.
Move back, please. Move back to the footpath.
Oh, but I belong to Jerry and I know that, friend. I know that. At the same time, these men here have to keep their backs to you and watch them and you're not helping. So it appealed to you to go way back.
The police feared that if the Catholics broke out of the Bogside, they would attack Protestant areas. The Catholics were afraid of what the police might do if they got into the Bogside.
It is perfectly obvious that this country, under the present constitution, is ungovernable. You have civilians living in this area who are forced to barricade the place and to launch an almost military offensive on the police force of this country. Not because the people in this area want to break the law, but because they know that if they do not keep the police out of this area, that the police will come in here and ruin their homes and attack their wives and children. Therefore, since the police force are the people who are in fact disturbing the peace, there can be no confidence in the machinery of government.
In the early evening, the police tried to break through the barricades into the Bogside. What had begun as an incident between police and a handful of youths had become a pitched battle. By nightfall, it was stalemate. Petrol bombs from Catholic youths were being answered by CS gas from the police. It was the first time CS gas had been used in the United Kingdom. On the evening of the second day, Chichester Clark went on television.
The irresponsible should know this. The law must and will be maintained. We have already said that we will not shrink from any necessary measure, however firm or however unpalatable. To that end, we are now acting to strengthen the hand of the forces of law and order. We will also use the special constabulary to the full, not for riot or crowd control, but to relieve the regular police of other duties.
The mobilization of the 8,500 B specials inflamed the Catholic population.
Somebody tries to throw that, the top will come out and the petrol will go all over his back. That's why we've had people burned down there. So get the cork in very, very tight, as tight as you can.
The local dairies later reported the loss of 43,000 milk bottles. That afternoon, with the RUC exhausted, Chichester Clark asked for troops to be sent in. In London, the Home Office had already decided their use was inevitable. As night fell, sympathetic rioting broke out across the province.
One prominent Catholic leader at that time, a political leader, who called on the people of Belfast, the Catholic population of Belfast, to come out onto the streets to relieve the people of Derry. Now, basically what he was saying was that the Catholic population of Belfast should come out and create as much mayhem as they possibly could to withdraw, so that the security forces would have to withdraw the RUC to deal with the problem then in Belfast. And once this was stated, then the Protestant population reacted in the only way they possibly could to defend their areas. They went out and attacked the Catholics.
You had the police invading the Ardoyne and Falls Road areas of Belfast, these areas being attacked by B specials and by loyalist paramilitants, a number of people being killed, streets of Catholic houses being burned down. And in that situation, there was a crying demand from the Catholic population for defence, for physical defence.
In Belfast, the police failed to control Protestant mobs, and fierce fighting had broken out along the sectarian divide. 8 people died that night. Whole Catholic streets were gutted. In the morning, Belfast Catholics were filmed abandoning their houses. 1,500 Catholics had lost their homes.
I would say that I don't think actually the IRA went on the offensive, the people went on the offensive. You know, it was the people who had enough of that time. They were brought out into the open. They were brought onto the streets because of the intimidation, the burnings. The people came onto the streets. The IRA were there also, but everybody, literally everybody in a Nationalist or Catholic ghetto, call it what you will, came onto the streets because they knew at some stage their house or their home, they would be affected. And if one grew from the other, or one gave support to the other, then it was inevitable.